Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and today I'm taking a first impressions look at Battletech, a turn-based mech warrior game, turn-based strategy mech warrior game, of the sort that hasn't been released since Mech Commander, which is not a game I played, but I am somewhat familiar with. Anyhow, I'm going to jump in here. I'm not too far in, enough that I finally got to the strategy layer of the game, which I thought was a good point to do this video. Alright, so here we are with my Leopard dropship. So at this point in the game, I am the commander of a small mercenary crew. The initial setup's a little odd. Essentially, you set your kind of backstory, where you pick from various, like, oh, my family came to this planet from, these various factions. And then you choose how you left your family, whether you were exiled or just stole the family mech and ran. But kind of regardless of what you pick, you end up with the same mech, and those don't seem to affect too much except for with certain dialogue choices, where it'll be like, oh, you can say this, and in brackets it'll have the little, backstory thing you chose that will affect what you did. But then you end up supposed to defend a noble who is being coronated. She is becoming the leader of I think it's the Oregon Reach, is the system or faction, I guess, that she's being coronated for. But her uncle decides that the family is the reason that the whole Reach is in decline, so he decides he's going to overthrow them and get rid of the council underneath the leader and her as well. So you are supposed to defend her, but you fail, your mentor dies, and you eject into space where these mercenaries pick you up. And she supposedly dies as well, though I say supposedly because she is also in the intro narrating how you led her to power. So obviously, she's not actually dead, and she's going to come back. So right now, I've got 5 mechs. 3 of them are currently under repairs from the last mission, which is pretty costly. Like, some of these cost about 100,000 C-pills to repair, and you can see I've got 709,000 right now. Though, at the point of the story I'm in, we're actually in debt, and we have to pay off our debt before we're allowed to leave the systems that we're in. And then we've got my mech warriors here. Because mech warrior, of course, does not refer to the mech itself, it refers to the pilots of the mechs. But we've got myself here, which you can see there are 4 stats that every pilot has. And as you put points into those with XP that you get from completing missions, you can unlock these passive bonuses. Like, I've got Sensor Lock right now, which is actually an ability, but you can only have 3 of these. I think you can actually only have 2 of these first tier ones unlocked and only 1 of the second tier ones. So you can only, I guess, level up so many in each one. I lost a pilot in my last mission, so I hired Scruffy here. And Glitch here was wounded, so she's in the medbay for 53 days. So that time should pass while we're traveling to the next system.
I'm all ears, Commander.
Why do we take out so many loans? Yeah, so Coronadir was the planet that I was on when the uncle came and overthrew the folks. So basically, we're not doing so hot. Alright, so we can just talk to him. Don't really need to talk to him right now.
Catch you later,
Contracts. So our last contract didn't go so well. The person we were working for betrayed us, and now we have decided that we're going to do contracts that are not on the official mercenary ratings board. Illegal contracts. So we have to hunt down an enemy lance of mechs. Okay, so we can negotiate so we either get more salvage from the mechs or we get more payment. So yeah, you can, salvage parts from mechs you destroy, or even salvage enough parts to build a mech out of the pieces of your enemies. So I'll just leave it at the default rate, I guess, for now.
Bio command.
So you can see all these timed events up at the top right. So, okay, so we're also going to go through the jump. Now, I could have paused there and probably bought some stuff, because the stuff available for purchase depends on where you are. You're on the Leopard's Bridge with Samir, Yang, and Darius. Okay, so we're not in too much trouble with them then. So let the timeline advance because we need to continue these repairs. Not yet. Okay, well, this mech is not going to be ready. Just wondering, can I just leave this running? Do we have like a time limit on the contract? Okay, well, my Vindicator is at least ready. So here's a bunch of people I can't hire because
yes, Commander.
I don't have a high enough mercenary ratings board rating to hire them yet. What about the store? Do we have any new mechs or anything here? Panther Salvage. And the Spider. So the Spider is a light mech that does not have basically any armor. So that's why mine is so fucked up. It just got shot to shit last time. I guess let's launch contract. Alright, so where is... This is my blackjack for that my pilot started with. So that's going to be me. Then we've got the Shadowhawk. So we got two medium mechs here. Who is the Shadowhawk's pilot? I believe it was Behemoth. And then... Vindicator's busted up, but it seems like it's only the leg that's really damaged still. So it just means I won't be able to use my jump jets, because they're not reinstalled yet. I guess we'll send in the Vindicator, and hope it doesn't get shot up even more. Okay, we'll put you in there. And the Spider I can't use at all, because it's really busted up, so we're going to send them in the Locust, which is even worse. So obviously the on-the-ground battles are the primary core of this game. It does have a good point there about withdrawing if it looks like the payout won't be worth the repairs. That's not a great payout. But if I play it smart and don't take too much damage, I should be able to avoid too many repair bills.
Command interface initiated.
So I should mention right off the bat that one of the big complaints people have had about this game, aside from the performance, is that there is huge amounts of downtime in between every single action you do. Places where the camera will just kind of linger on, like, a mech before anything happens. You know, the kind of stuff that has been modded out of XCOM, or new XCOM at least, pretty well. But I'm using a few fixes that remove a lot of that downtime. Like, see how it instantly swaps? A lot of the time it would just, like, linger on her standing there for a couple seconds, and then it would switch to my next mech. Okay, so Scruffy's gonna be my scout. Also, with the way these mechs zip around, I actually do have a fix that increases mech move speed. So they do look a little silly, but it's a lot less waiting than watching a mech walk there every time. So just keep those in mind. Okay. So, we've got a mech down there and a tank of some kind down there.
On my way.
Coordinates received.
I.
So the Locust is not going to be much good, but it will let me spot so that my other units can use their long-range missiles. Also, the way these turns work is essentially sorted by weight class. So, like, the medium mechs will be able to go, and then it'll go to the heavy mechs, and then back to the light mechs, and so on and so forth. So, like, Scruffy here will get to go before everyone else because she's in such a light mech.
Affirmative.
Set her to brace, which is basically just defend or hunker down. Oop. Got a little bit of chip damage there by a tank. Alright, so on the bottom right you can see all of the weapons I have equipped. You could fire all of them, but usually it's not smart to do so because that builds up a lot of heat, and if you bet too much heat, your mech will overheat and shut down. So you usually only want to fire the ones that are in their effective ranges. Alright, so... not a lot of good. Nothing is really in the ideal range. Whatever, let's just fire everything. We're early in here, so I'm not too worried about anything yet. Okay, so Behemoth has an LRM, so I could nail this guy with rockets from back here.
I copy.
So we'll turn off all my other weapons and try to hit him with some rockets.
Affirmative.
So all the different damage types all have kind of different specific roles. You know, lasers are high damage, high accuracy, but they build a lot of heat. There's like flamethrowers that you can use just to build a lot of heat on enemy units and force them to shut down. Rockets don't do a lot of damage, but they have good range and good knockdown.
On my way.
Ballistic weapons do good damage and are not very heavy, but they require you to carry ammo that can be detonated by enemy attacks if they destroy the places where your ammo is stored.
Taking a shot.
Alright, so he's got a lot of evasion built up. Evasion is essentially something you stack depending on how far you move. So if you sprint to a location, you'll build up a lot of evasion points, which will make it much harder for enemies to hit you. Whereas if you stand still, you can, you know,
I'm here.
fire, but you're not going to build up any evasion, you're going to be an easy target. Another thing here, you see this little blue meter, morale. As that builds up, you'll be able to spend it to do things like precision strikes or vigilance, which are basically just better forms of regular actions. So there's, rather than having individual abilities with cooldowns, you have essentially stuff like that. that you can use on any unit.
Acknowledged.
Alright, she can't actually see this guy. I was gonna get her to chip away that tank.
Damage minimal.
So I'm just going to zoom in here on my mech. So you can see you've got 3 different meters. The top one, the gray and white one, is your structural strength as well as your armor. Under that you've got your heat meter, and under that you've got your stability meter. And when it goes over where the arrow is, you become unsteady, and shots have a chance of knocking you down. So I'm going to move up behind this cover here. And I'm going to brace. Bracing also allows you to take about half damage. So it's a good thing to do when you want to just cool down your mech. Because as long as you're not firing your weapons or using your jump jets, you're not going to build up heat. Man, speaking of jump jets, everybody seems to have broken theirs. Okay, so standing in forest is also good cover, so I'm going to send him up here.
Jumping.
Okay, so he's got 4 chevrons next to his shield, which means he's going to be pretty evasive. So let's try to hit this guy with the LRM and the PPC, which is a particle projection cannon. It's like a sniper Gauss rifle thing.
Firing on target.
That was a pretty good hit. Took down the left leg and knocked him down. You can also turn off dynamic camera so it doesn't do shots like that, but for now I like to leave it on. I'll probably turn it off after I've played a bit more and get sick of it.
Standing by. Copy that.
It's kind of funny how fast she moves. Can you really just not target anything? God, you're useless. I mean, all she has is 1 laser and 2 machine guns. Alright, so the Jenner shouldn't... Oh, I was gonna say, he shouldn't get to fire again.
Standing by.
Alright, so what do we got for... Oh, we still don't really have any good cover.
Heading out.
Obviously kind of hard to take cover with a Battlemech.
Aye, aye.
These tanks are fairly tough, surprisingly. Okay, so again, I don't really have any good spot to stand here. And you can only attack units that are in your current firing arc, which is why you have to pick it once you move. Let's see if I can get behind these rocks. So I have a good chance to hit this tank. Don't have a great chance to hit this guy, though, without hitting the rock. Figured I'd fire everything there because there's a lot of stuff in the way. Okay, so they only have 4 units because that took off 25% of our objective. So I think it's just these guys here, though more could show up after that. I don't know how... The missions I've done so far have been fairly complex with multiple objectives, but I don't know how prevalent that is, since those were kind of more story missions. Alright, so I'm going to turn on the medium laser as well, because there's a 65% chance to hit. Alright, so he's almost out of armor. Okay. So, as long as I'm taking the hits with the Vindicator here, doing pretty good because he's not taking any damage. Alright, Scruffy, can you do anything useful?
Location confirmed.
I mean, I know you're basically just here because my other mech is useless. You know, that's basically just the extra mech they give you, so you're not fucked if one of yours breaks.
Good to go.
So as long as I keep moving him in the forest here, he's going to keep building up evasive charges. Okay, turn off the LRM. Short laser can't hit him from this range.
Acknowledged.
Alright. So left arm destroyed and left torso destroyed. The way pilot damage works is essentially pilots have like 3 or 4 wounds they can take, and they take a wound every time like a piece is destroyed that affects them or there's a knockdown. And then once you've done enough wounds, it will basically kill the pilot without destroying the mech. Okay, I want to hit this thing, but friggin' it's just not in a good spot. Yeah, I can't even hit him from here. Thought I could hit him with the LRM, since she can see him, but apparently I don't have an LRM anymore. Alright, Behemoth, can you just finish this guy off? No, she can't. Oh, it's because I have the LRM equipped. I was like, why can't I target anything closer? And it's because that's the minimum range.
Moving out.
But from here, I should be able to hit him with these things. Yeah, so I'll turn off the LRM.
Locking on. Mech destroyed.
Alright, so it took him down. His fusion reactor didn't go critical, so there should be something to salvage there.
Yes, Commander. Move
Also,
order
where you
received.
hit an enemy from does matter, because they have, you know, rear armor and front armor, so you can use fast mechs to get behind people and blast them in the back.
All weapons are go. Vehicle down.
Alright. Good hit. So I'm just gonna get up and blast this guy with the lasers.
Engaging target.
And there we go.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Oh, that was the end of the mission. No
Mission successful.
wrenches thrown into the gears. Just a simple little 4-on-4 battle with one mech. So my reputation went up. And my reputation with the Magistry of Canopus went down. And we got some money. So you can see everybody got some experience. Nobody took any wounds there. None of my mechs were really that damaged, except the Vindicator, which was already damaged, and her Locust, which took a little armor damage. Okay, so I get to pick one piece of salvage. And then the rest will be random. So let's see, what do I want here? This ammo stuff just means you have to have this equipped to use the weapon related to it. It's not like you run out of ammo. I think. So we got short-range missiles, machine guns, medium lasers, long-range missiles, auto cannons, or the Jenner. Low armor, fast striker cavalry. I guess I'll just take the medium laser for now. Those are pretty handy. Alright, so I got another medium laser, autocannon. Or no, that's the medium laser I picked. So I got an extra jump jet, some LRM ammo and MG ammo. Alright, so nothing too good there. I assume sometimes you want to go take mechs just so you can build them up and sell them. You know, you don't always have to use them. Okay, so that was a simple mission. Go to the mech bay here. See if I can finish repairing the Vindicator. 12,000 C-bills. Yeah, that's not too bad. Do I even want to repair the Locust? I guess I should. Pretty cheap. Alright, and if I go to Mech Warriors, I could spend that experience, though I don't think we got enough to really unlock any abilities.
Yes, Commander.
I could improve Scruffy's piloting or tactics. Piloting increases melee hit chance and base sprint distance. Also increases your threshold for stability. I guess I'll increase piloting on her.
Mech warrior training complete.
Receiving you.
Alright,
Training confirmed.
so what's our next contract available? Smugglers. It's been a rise in the quantity of unregistered small arms on Detroit. Wait, are we working for Canopus, or are we working against Canopus? I mean, both of these are fairly simple missions. However, this one has a 17-day travel time, so I might take that just so I can finish the repairs. Unlikely to be turrets. Assaulting fixed defenses is always a mess. Alright, I guess we'll go with smugglers then. So you get a rep bonus if you take lower payment.
Bio command.
Alright. So that was a fairly simple mission. Let's get into this other one. I don't know if we're going to finish it out, but I think that'll give you an idea of what kind of game this is. It's not a very fast-paced game, that's for sure, even compared to, like, NextCom, which is what I'm going to call Firaxis XCOM. Okay, we're still technically on Bellerophon. So we dock to a jump ship, and then the jump ship transports us to the system we want to go to. And then from there, we just fly to the planet. It's maybe a little weird that you can't skip that.
Got a new financial report for you.
Alright, so here's our financial report. So 239,000 bills for expenses, which is not too bad. Okay, so you can actually set your monthly income, or sorry, monthly expenses. We're just going to leave it at normal for now. Can I speed this up at all? No. I guess we'll just have to wait. And we went to the contract. Yeah. It doesn't seem like there's a deadline for contracts. Like, can I just sit here for 10 days waiting for my mechs to finish? There really doesn't seem any reason not to just wait. If if there's no deadline on contracts. Alright. So, this time Scruffy's going to get something a little better. She's going to get the spider. Still going to be the same roll, but now she actually has a little bit more bite to her weapons. And let's deploy. It has unused tonnage, but I don't have time to attach stuff to it, because if you equip your mechs, it takes a couple days. So yeah, we'll just jump into another battle here, see how it goes from the start, and then we will call it a video. I've been having decent fun with this so far, aside from the aforementioned weird speed issues and the fact that it feels a little underwhelming at times. You know, I don't have a lot of experience with the Battletech universe, aside from the Mech Warrior games that came out on the Xbox. I believe they were called Mech Assault, which were, you know, decently fun little mech games. I know people didn't like them because, you know, they weren't classic Battletech like the much more complicated PC versions.
Command interface.
But they were a lot more playable because it's very difficult, from what I've seen, to play those Mech Warrior games with a mouse and keyboard instead of like a, you know, joystick setup. Okay, so there are turrets. Usually when there's turrets, there is a turret generator. Though I'm not seeing one, so there might not be. Alright, Scruffy, you're our scout, so you're gonna go up first.
Roger.
Water is also helpful, because if you stand in water, you gain much less heat. So you can fire your lasers pretty indiscriminately if you're standing in water.
Standing by.
Okay. So I want you to kind of skim around the outside and see what you can see.
Affirmative. Time to earn our pay.
Time to earn our pay. Okay, let's get up into these woods.
Moving out.
Move order received.
So he's going to be sniping at us with that PPC.
I'm there. Aye.
However, it is just a light mech, so I should be able to hammer on it with my own light mech a little bit. Alright, so I've got a shot with the sniper autocannon and the other sniper autocannon, so do a little boop boop there. Didn't do too much damage, but that's alright.
Yes, Commander.
She's really got some long-range
On the
weapons.
move.
Alright, so the autocannon and the long-range missile. Putting a little bit of hurt on that Panther before its reinforcements can show up.
Waiting for orders. Location confirmed. Roger that.
Alright, so destroy the heat sink, so now his heat will just keep building up
Critical hit.
and go down much more slowly. Alright, all of those rockets missed, and those were probably coming from the turrets. Yeah, so I don't want to keep her there. little bit of autocannon damage.
I'm here.
You don't really have a good spot to move to, unless I sprint. I can get you up here behind this. Get some eyes on some other
Roger,
stuff.
Skipper. Kicking it.
Alright, taking a little bit of hits there. This open water doesn't really provide a lot of cover here. So I kind of just want to stay here in a sniping battle on these guys.
Engaging target. Enemy mech destroyed.
Okay, you're down.
Receiving you.
Receiving you.
Not a great chance to hit here. I think he's got too much evasion still.
Yeah. Good to go.
He's got some decent chance to hit.
Engaging target.
What's up, boss? Copy that.
Okay, so it's gone pretty well so far. As long as my spider doesn't get too chewed up by these turrets. I mean, they're doing pretty minimal damage because of the evasion.
I'm showing minor damage. I'm receiving you. Scarred a critical hit.
So I'm going to want to start moving them closer now. Can I sprint into that other forest? No, you really can't get very far with the sprint. What about the jump? No. So I'm pretty much going to have to walk out into open water here. But if their mech here doesn't have eyes on me, then the long-range missiles won't be able to hit. Because you still need someone to actually see what you're shooting at with those.
Waiting for orders.
So let's move up towards these hills. Nope. Move
Ready
up to
for
these
orders.
hills here.
Yep.
This is pretty dramatic music for what's actually happening.
Moving out.
Alright, and brace. So they've still got some eyes on, or those turrets can just see me from across the map.
Damage minimal.
Waiting for orders. Copy that, Commander.
She's really not very useful. That's, except for as a harasser. Kind of the point of the light mech, though. Sadly, I'm not far enough in that I've really seen any too iconic mechs. I mean, I don't know too many Battlemechs,
Good
aside
to go.
from some of the kind of big ones like the Mad Cat or the Atlas. But I still know a few. I did at one point collect the Battleclicks mech game, MechWarrior Dark
copy.
Ages, so I've got a bunch of those mechs. Oh, I actually killed the pilot.
Target neutralized.
Alright, so at this point, Just gonna have to start moving closer. Really can't move too far through this water.
Confirm.
And there shouldn't be a downside to jumping in the water because of the heat drain. Okay, so Scruffy, you're gonna have to get eyes on something
Yes,
for me here.
Commander. Order acknowledged. Sensors show more bandits. All weapons are go.
Alright, so these turrets aren't gonna be too much of a threat when I get them in range. Vigilance. Guarded in trench, remove all stability damage. So I can get him to move up sooner if I use Vigilance. Because it'll increase his... Or is that slower? I'm not actually sure. Okay, you're gonna get up in the woods.
Copy that.
And you're gonna fire long range stuff.
Engaging.
One turret down.
That turret is gone.
So yeah, even with the pauses removed, there is still some stuff like that, but again, that's only because I have dynamic camera turned on. Otherwise, it would have just skipped to the next mech right away.
On my way.
So all I've got left is these turrets, and all I have to do is destroy the buildings.
I'm receiving you. Confirmed.
Okay, so yeah, that actually did move me up in the initiative.
Engaging target.
I'm reading heavy damage to an enemy structure.
Working on it.
Bring it down.
Standing by. Got it.
I mean, I don't even have to destroy the turrets, I just have to destroy these buildings. Could just snipe them, I guess. But yeah, after the first two missions, which were pretty dramatic, these are pretty easy going.
Heading out. Acknowledged. Target.
Good shot, Commander. Enemy structure
Yep, let's
down.
get a nice zoom in on there.
Commander? Copy that, Commander.
Okay, so she can't actually get eyes on the turrets, so I guess just start popping the buildings.
10-4.
How do you miss a building with a laser? Not like the building is moving out of the way, and it's not like the laser has that much scatter.
Roger.
Okay, another turret down. So this is pretty much another milk run.
Target destroyed.
I've yet to see any like heavily armored turrets.
Roger. Firing on target. One less turret.
And I don't actually think I even need to shoot these turrets because I don't think they can see me without someone to spot for them.
Engaging target.
So at this point, I'm just kind of wasting time.
I'm here. Coordinates
We're
received.
gonna leave the turrets to Scruffy.
All right.
That way she can get some XP on the kills. If she kills them before I kill the base. Most of my weapons are still out of range for these guys.
Yes, Commander. Location confirmed. Target confirmed. Target eliminated.
Yep, slowly zoom in again. So again, it is a slower paced turn-based strategy game than like the new XCOM games, but that kind of fits considering you're in big clunky mechs.
Attacking from position.
So if you want faster paced strategy, this is definitely not the game for you. Ooh, took some hits there.
Can't take much more of that.
So the way the armor works too is that you actually do have individual armor for each part, so you can see there her structure is exposed but only on the right arm. So it's not like the white meter has to be completely depleted before you can take structural damage.
Orders.
Okay, so that was the last turret, so now I can just move freely.
Firing. Rot it.
Leopard inbound, Commander. I'll meet you at the LZ.
Really? Okay, good. I was gonna say, don't make me walk back to the LZ if there's no enemies left.
Successful.
So not the most exciting battles, but again, I think it gives you an idea of what kind of tactical combat game this is. And I look forward to playing more of this and building up a decent stable of mechs. I think that's the thing I look forward to this more for than the story stuff, is just running a mercenary company and, you know, getting money, getting better mechs, getting to fight more interesting mechs. That's really the progression I'm looking for here, and I'm glad that that seems to be mostly the case. Now, because this is Paradox publishing this, I have to wonder what kind of constant DLC scheme they're going to put in, because, you know, that's very much a Paradox thing to do, release 100 DLCs for a game. But at least with this one, you can tell what they're going to probably release is just more mechs, more factions, all of that stuff. So that stuff I would actually look forward to seeing more of. Let's take the Panther salvage. Then we also got the particle cannon. But yeah, I'm enjoying this so far, and having those speed fixes is definitely a lifesaver for not wanting to stop playing because of all the time you waste just waiting. It's just a shame that they don't officially support those. Claims to be a member of the Canopian elite, so this is probably the lady that's supposed to be dead. And it's nice that they have these little things where it's like, oh, you don't know the Battletech lore, you can just mouse over it and it'll tell you. So that's always a nice thing to have for stuff like this with a pre-established universe. No, it's cool. We cleared things up at the bank so they're not trying to kill us at the moment. So you can see there, because I have the Origin Loner, I can use this dialogue option. Which, I'm not sure if that actually changes anything, or if it's just changes the dialogue you get in return. Hemorrhaging sea bills. Are we already at Bellerophon? No, that's where it came from. No, I know, I already changed it. That's how we became Shadefyre's Roughnecks. Alright, so all our mechs are repaired. I'll probably have to repair them again after that last mission a little bit, but for the most part I think we're doing good. But anyhow, that's Battletech. I think it's pretty cool so far, and again, there's not enough mech games, whether direct, first-person combat, or third-person action, or top-down tactical like this. There's just not enough mechs these days on PC. I really wish that From would finally port some of the front mission games to PC, especially like the last one, which is a heavy multiplayer-focused one, so that would be cool to see on PC, but who knows? Maybe the next one they will, thanks to Dark Souls being on PC, but anyhow, I've been Shadefyre, this is Battletech, and I hope you'll join me with future mech endeavors. There is supposed to be an actual new mech combat game coming out possibly this year or next year, but I'm not so sure I'm excited for it because it is from the same developer of MechWarrior Online, and they do not exactly have a good reputation for the way they interact with the community and the way they keep jamming more and more microtransaction layers into MechWarrior Online. They sort of killed that game on their own. But at the same time, that game does have a good base for the actual playing and combat, so that could make for a good MechWarrior game if they don't fuck it up. Anyhow, take care, fellow MechWarriors.